Well, hello everyone.
Hey, oh kitties, what's up?
You're so much more energetic than I was. Hey, I'm Tara,
I'm Natalie.
and we are making a movie, and this is a podcast following along in the behind the scenes adventure as Natalie and I endeavor to make our first feature film, which is inching closer and closer every day in a very
Close.
literal
Too close.
sand in the timer kind of way.
Oh gosh, I can feel it. I hate it. I hate it.
Oh, I know. All right. Before we really dive into the show, if you want to support the movie, if you want to help make this happen, we are taking in any denomination you want to give via a couple different sources. We got a PayPal account. You can send us some monies via PayPal. If you're watching live on YouTube, we do the super chat live here. And those, whatever you give us, we're going to put those into the account to make the movie happen. Also, if you've been watching and you love us and you love the idea and the concept of the movie and a buddy apocalyptic comedy, wow, that was hard to say. Uh, and you want to become an investor, we have a mechanism to make that happen. All you got to do is email us. Our email is below, and we'll start a conversation about becoming an investor on the movie. So
Let's talk about that.
take a look at that. Take a look at that. You'll get to look at the deck and the script and all the stuff. Okay.
Oh
Before
boy.
we
Yeah.
before
Whatever.
we get into
Before
this
whatever.
episode, oh my gosh, before we get into this episode, we got some intense breaking news. We
This just in. This just in.
At our Monday meeting, we found out that our location is officially locked for the entire month of February
Which is
because
awesome.
which is amazing and so incredible. We get in a location for an entire month, and we're only shooting for 14 days. So like the boon that is for production is massive. However, that did mean that we had a really good logistical look at the dates for filming, and the choice that we all made was to up production by a week,
And
which
I
means
regret it. I regret past Natalie. Past Natalie is not kind, and I hate her.
our past selves were mean to our present selves, which I think though will be happy for our future selves. I don't really know, but it does mean that we are starting production. We are cameras rolling on this movie February 9th, which
Meh.
is so scary. We lost. I'm gonna put in air quotes in my hands. We lost a week to prep. We're having to change a lot of our plans. We were learning lines in a way that we're ramping up. Everything just got really intense really quickly, and time is of the essence, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was one of those where we went, okay. Yeah, if that's what has to happen, then that's what has to happen.
Hmm.
Um, and then I started to look at it, Tara, and I started to like count, okay, count how many days until I have to be on the road,
Yeah.
and then cut out all the Wednesdays because I can't get anything accomplished on Wednesdays
Hmm.
because I'm here and then I'm editing audio.
Yeah.
And then cut out all the Thursdays because I work from 1 until 10. So,
Right.
okay, nothing's getting accomplished on those days. And I was just like, that's not enough
I know.
time.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's
I When am I going to memorize?
yeah, we both have this very like, that weird feeling you get in your chest when something is really scary, like you're on a roller coaster. That's what I feel like every day.
Yeah.
Every day I wake up and remember what's going on in my life. Like I wake up for the first couple of seconds because it's very hard for me to join the land of the living. For the first couple of seconds, I forget. And then after about a minute, I go, oh, these are all the realities of my life. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I am just hit with a ton of bricks of like stress and wee as we start to go down, as we do the tick 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 up on the roller coaster, tipping down. So that's what's going on.
Yeah.
But it does set us up very nicely for today's episode because one of the best things you can
Yes.
do for yourself before you're in pre-production is to start planning as early as possible so that what is it when opportunity meets preparedness, you are preparedness and ready to go.
Something like that. I don't know. My brain is so mush at this point in time. You're talking about like the slow wake up. Mine is like, how do I fall asleep at this point in time? I
Yeah.
have to accomplish like one more task. Last night I like gathered old pictures of Tara and I
I
for
saw
like an
that.
hour. I know. Yeah, it was kind of fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
But it was so I could sleep. Yeah, no. So we're in pre-production, in case you couldn't tell. And that means we are struggling with sharing information. That's an
Mhm.
ongoing struggle. And that's what we're diving into today. Pre-production is a lot of people trying to make one thing happen. And and that's impossible. Like right before this, I was like, Tara, I just need to talk to your dad. Like, her dad is doing set deck. I just need to have a conversation with him, even though that's not linear. Like
Mm-mm.
I'm gonna bypass just so I can have this moment of clarity for myself, and then I can move on to my next thing. But you have a lot of information right now. For us, that means we have a lot of Google Docs,
Oh my
which
gosh, we have so many.
is great, but it's not what it was built to do.
No,
So it is. I mean, it's built to share
it's
information.
great. It's great for that.
But we have a doc for every, I mean, even we could have probably used this for we're making a movie and it would have been for the podcast, like, and it would have
Hmm.
been more helpful than the 5 billion Google Docs that we have just for this podcast. So organization is key.
It's paramount. It is
It's key.
paramount, especially when you're organizing so many details, so many departments, so many people. I mean, full blush honesty, this is my jam. I love organization, color coding, spreadsheets. It's my favorite topic. Natalie hates everything about this,
I hate
and
it.
finding ways to do it better is my jam. Like when Google Sheets and Google Docs became a thing, I was very excited. But that system is failing us because again, it was not made for this. It's great, but the
Yeah.
running joke we have right now is, okay, I'm going to start a Google Doc, and we both maniacally laugh because we have a Google Doc that is an organizing page for all the Google Docs so that you have all the links in one. That is the level of
Yes,
crazy
it is
this is.
insane. I mean, yes, we do. We're making a movie. There is a master Google Doc that
Yeah,
is just links to all the other Google
all the
Docs.
other Google Docs.
And I have to pin that to my home screen so that
Yeah.
I can find that because
Oh my
I have
gosh.
multiple of that. And it's not oh, okay, but
So now there
so
are systems out there already in place. There are things like Movie Magic, which is the industry standard for organizing some parts of productions, but these are dinosaurs. I've used them. Literally, when I log into my Movie Magic account, it looks like I am logging into a 1990s website. It is so archaic and it's not user friendly. And how they haven't figured out how to make it user friendly and also a collaborative project. Like we literally decided not to use Movie Magic because I am unable to share that with my director. Like we just can't. And just for those of you who don't know, Movie Magic and Movie Budgeting is a budgeting software and a stripboard software that helps you organize all the scenes and the budgets, but it is just not user friendly.
well, the issue with that, the reason that it's still antiquated, why it's antiquated, I don't know if you can still be antiquated, is because there's not enough competition in
Hmm.
that realm,
Absolutely.
and so there's no need to up it. You see it with other industries where there are competitions going on. You have to keep like innovating so that you're the
Hmm.
one that they want to use. And
Absolutely.
Movie Magic has not had the competition, so they have just been the industry. Final Draft is like that. Final
Yeah.
Draft has been like it's hard to share Final Draft,
It is annoying. Yeah.
and they've gotten better at it because there were other ones who stepped into the market
Hmm.
and started making it shareable, and people were like, "Oh, I want that. That is a
Yeah.
problem solver." So now you have to try to do it too. Anyway,
So
so
yeah.
our guest today has made a word I'm looking for invented. I don't know what the right. He's got a program that's online called Collabrix, and it is built for just that. It's the pre-production flow of a film and getting everyone on the same page. You can upload your script. You can it makes you can upload your scene your scene breakdown and stuff like
Mhm.
that, so that everyone can be working off the same project at the same time. And you can have multiple projects. It is in its infancy. It's not quite yet to even beta tester phase. So there are more things that are going to be. We'll let
Oh yeah.
Thomas talk about that, but there are more things that will be coming along with this. But we just did a little. We went through and plugged away at this, and we were like, "This is freaking awesome."
So
Now
cool.
we are 2 weeks away from starting our film. It's a little late to try to like onboard our stuff into this, but it is like I will be using it for
Oh
my
yeah.
next.
We
We already
we
said.
now that we've gone through this process this
Hmm.
way and we know it's a little too late for this film, we are efforting looking for solutions for the next one because this is not going to
Hmm.
be our last feature film. It's not going to be our last project. We even think that that kinds of things that this collaborates would be useful in the short films we're going to make. So
Yeah. Oh, of course.
we are hot on working on this
Yeah.
because this has been such a nightmare.
Hmm. So, Thomas DeCarlo is our guest today. We're going to introduce him as like how we know Thomas. Uh, we met Thomas, I don't know how many years ago. It
So
was
long
at
ago.
Twister Alley Film Festival. I think we were there with him twice. He had a short film that was animated. I don't remember what it was called, but it was about an alien duck encounter. I think it might have been called Alien Encounter. But he was there when we did our table read for Turns Out, when we had it as a um, web series.
Hmm.
And he came back to us and was like, this needs to be a feature. This needs to be a feature. And I remember like getting an email from him after he had gone home and was like, I've been thinking about your film. It needs to be a feature. And so it was really cool when he reached out again, because we've been, Facebook friends and Instagram
Hmm.
friends, and he he congratulated us that we were making the feature and was like, I have this program, which he had told us about before. And I think he was probably already working on it when we had met him. Um, but we had, obviously gone our separate ways and not had a huge amount of contact. So it had, kind of lost track of it. But then it was like, oh, you happened to reach out at exactly the right time. We went and dove in and looked at it. We're like, we want you on the program. So that's how we know Thomas. Like
Yeah.
who Thomas is outside of that. He lives in
Right.
Indiana. That's all I
Well,
got.
well, I think, Thomas is, there's a few other people, but Thomas is one of the key people in our lives that came to us and said, I love what you have, make it a feature. And at the time, we're like, "Psh, we don't know anything about that." But because he said that, pushed us in this direction of making this in a feature. So I
Hmm.
feel very grateful to
It
Thomas for like
planted the seed.
saying,
Planted
planted a
that
seed.
seed.
And I'm
Yeah.
really grateful to him for saying that because now we are where we are and making a feature film is a lifelong dream of mine. So like, thank you, Thomas, for that.
Hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna bring Thomas in the room, guys. Everyone be cool. Everyone be cool. Here comes Thomas.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Thomas, welcome to the
Hi.
show.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for having me.
You
Thank you for
bet.
coming.
I'm excited. Like I said earlier, like organization is my jam, and hearing about this program, I'm really excited to like talk about it with you. But before we do that, I would like you to give us a proper introduction to you, how you came to this industry, what you've been up to, all that jam.
What the short film's name actually was.
I think you got
It
it.
it was called The Encounter. Yeah.
The
Okay.
Encounter.
I hate to correct you though. We met in Chicago though. So
Oh, did we?
but that
Well,
was my
those
I
are
was
sister.
thinking.
yeah.
Those
Yeah,
are
they are.
sister festivals. Yeah.
They are.
It's
Yeah.
Josh Hope. Josh Hope brings
Josh
everyone
Hope.
together.
He
It
does.
is true.
Yeah.
I actually have pictures of that stage reading. It popped in my head that it might be Chicago because I just recently
Ah.
saw pictures of us together doing that I'm going to post. Anyways, continue, Thomas.
But yeah, I drove back from Chicago and I thought about your story like the whole way back, and I got home and I was like, I'm gonna make a poster for them. And so I put together a little poster mock up and was like, this is what this should look like.
I forgot about that.
Find
Oh.
that.
Oh,
We got to
yeah.
find that.
I pulled it up. I'll share it with
Oh,
you
do
again.
you have it?
Yeah.
Send it to us. Oh my
Um,
gosh.
That was when we were touring with Imaginary Friends. So that was a while
That was a
ago, I
long
think.
time
Or maybe it was
ago.
Nope, Panic Button.
Panic Button,
Yeah.
2018. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, a little brief intro about myself. I kind of grew up a multidisciplinary artist, so I did music and theater and photography. And by the time I got to high school, it was a little too much, and I was like, oh wait, I could do all of those together and make movies. And so I kind of pivoted everything into films and did live action films for a few years and studied through college. I made my first feature when I was 19, so it was like an ultra low budget, like $2,000, like 2.5 person crew feature
Wow.
film.
Oh.
And I left that experience and said, I don't think I want to do live action anymore. All the like anxiety vibes that you're in right now are like, this is why I like animation. So I did. I graduated college and I took about 10 years to learn the 3D animation pipeline. And, I did other jobs. So I was moonlighting doing this. And eventually 2018 was when we had our first kid. My wife got a better job than I did. And I was like, I'm going to leave my job. I'm going to take care of a kid and I'm going to do animation full time. And it took 4.5 months and I pretty much did nothing other than animate my film, which ended up at 13 minutes long, which is a bit longer than I intended when I went in. But I made that and released that in 2018 and, officially launched my studio and did the festival tour and won awards. And I came home and I was like, this is, 20-year journey of filmmaking. And I was like, this is what I want to do. And I don't want to be a cog in an animation machine. I don't want to spend my days making clouds. I want to, and by the way, that short film was basically me. I mean, it was 4 people, myself, the sound designer, the composer, and one voice artist. So I got to the point where I could do all of the other things myself. And that's what resonates with me creatively. And I enjoy that challenge to make all of those pieces come together.
Wow.
And I said, how do I do that? And my answer was, well, I need to make a feature, something that's commercially viable and can pay the bills. And so since then, I have been in development on adapting that short film into a feature-length animation. So we are kind of at the tail end of development where we've raised money, we've cast the film, we are preparing to make a teaser, like a full production quality teaser that will be kind of that last straw to get the holdouts that are like, we don't think you could do this with that budget and out of central Indiana. And we have to show them that we can deliver the quality that, they expect for the big screen. So that's kind of where we're sitting. And part of that process was, I lived off of spreadsheets for my short film. I had even though it was just me, like there's so much information, you just got to organize it. And I came out of that short film and said, a spreadsheet is not sufficient. And with the feature, a lot of my day jobs were in technology and database management. And I was like, you can technology your way out of a lot of these issues. There's no reason to have 5,000 Google Docs or the Google Doc to manage your Google Doc. I mean, I was listening to you guys and I'm like, the biggest issue is you end up managing your management systems. And then, you've got dwindling return for how much you put into it to how massive it gets, how much of a burden it ends up becoming. And that's what I set out to solve. And so in parallel with my production, I'm 6 years into building this platform that's actually designed to go all the way from script to screen. So for animation productions, that's managing all of my digital assets, that's managing shot lists, render queues, approval workflows, like all the way to the final stages. And we're still early. I had a functioning prototype in 2023, and then I basically saw the potential and how much, once everything imaginable went virtual, I was like, oh, everybody needs this. And so it's been, a 3-year journey of commercializing it, making sure it fits with any type of workflow. So documentary filmmakers can use it when you're shooting first and then managing a production after the fact. So, it's been a journey. It's a big challenging journey.
That's absolutely insane. Like the idea to me of like building a website to do these kinds of functions, like that is like a superhero power in my mind. Like that's crazy cool.
Did you so am I getting this right in that, sorry, I was pulling up the website at the
you're
same time so that I could ask pointed questions because I had remembered we went in there and built this whole thing. Did you? You didn't have an intention of it going live when you were building it? It was more just for your own workflow, or was it always like, oh, I'm doing this for the community as well?
I mean, I had an awareness. It was certainly, I need this, and I knew that every other filmmaker you talk to has these same struggles. So I
Yeah.
knew it was universal. I don't know. I did not grasp the scope of the impact it could have across the industry, across adjacent industries, anyone who's collaborating on video production. Which, that could be marketing departments. It could touch everyone. So when it really hit home, the scope of this is like, oh, this needs to be really well polished. This needs to be a real product. And did my deep dive into entrepreneurship, because it's got to be done well and work right.
So when
As-
building this, I want to understand the scope of how much work you've put into this. Are you the only person building this right now? Do you have team members also helping you out with like the code? I'm throwing out words I don't actually know here. The coding and stuff.
I do all of the coding. Yeah. So
Wow.
um, I it's like my film work. I do the majority of the things. I have team members that are in the wings, basically waiting for us to scale,
Okay.
and we're not there yet. So
Gotcha.
it's not only me, but to date, I'm still 99% of building the product and the strategy and assessing how to address the needs of filmmakers.
Wow.
Wow, that's insanely cool. I am so impressed. Like that's not a place that I have knowledge in, and building something like this that I desperately need, like just that's awesome. So Natalie, like Natalie said, she's got the site pulled up a little bit, so we're gonna be able to ask you some pointed questions. It's gonna be a little tough because this is at the end of the day a podcast. We're not gonna show anybody anything.
Yeah.
So forgive the odd conversation we're about to have, but we have questions about the site.
Well, I think first of all, tell us about Collaborix. Tell us what it is and
Yeah.
what its main functions are.
Sure. I mean, I will maybe mention its genesis. So I was working on my feature film. I had a script, so I was using script software, I was using storyboarding software, and I ended up pulling that into a video editor to do my animatics. But at that point, I'm still playing with the story. And so, once I finally have voices and seeing the storyboards move, and I'm like, oh, well, I actually want to cut away from this scene and do this other thing and then come back to it. And then I'd spend half a day going back to other software and renaming files, and it literally it cost half a day to make a minor change to the story.
Yeah.
And to me, that was absurd. That was absurd that those things were not connected and didn't happen intuitively. And so that was my genesis. So unlike other platforms where you import your script and then you do things on top of it, all of the different pieces are connected. So if you're at an animatic and you rearrange some shots, it will automatically get your storyboards updated. It will prompt you like, oh, your script's out of line. Now this line of dialogue should be before this line of action. And you can look at those and say, yes, 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 yes. And now it's populated for
Wow.
everything.
Whoa, that's amazing.
Well, because I think people don't realize, with scripts, we're going through a lot of this right now. Because especially with a low budget script, you're going to be making a lot of compromises to whatever script you started with, and you can't get the yogurt shop, and so you change yogurt shop here, and what does that change over here, and what there is knowing all the places that things need to change. I mean, you can find and replace, but then you're going and re-importing this and doing your storyboards from scratch again. Like it's like you're always going back to final draft and fixing things, and then re-importing your final draft file, and that's just it's a nightmare. Like
Right. Yeah, it's managing the managing. Yeah. Like just any kind of minor change. Like I did some very basic, simple changes to the script recently and sent out the new script. and the fallout was it did slightly alter the page numbers, and that is like that seems like not a big deal. That is a problem. So like when Natalie and I are trying to work together on like just lines, we're like, what page are
Mhm.
you on? I'm on this
Yeah.
page. And there is an old studio system, like they would do the color system where everyone would be on the same color script so that you could look around the table and know, oh, you've got a blue script, we're on pink. That is stupid now. That is so, I love it as a sentimentality. That is stupid to
Yeah.
now be like, hey, are you on 15, 12, 25 script version 3? Like, no, no, that is madness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other I tell that story when I every time I step into the entrepreneurial world and like ask for money, and it's like that's my example of like this is how archaic the industry is.
Yeah.
But the whole platform is designed to be collaborative. So with, let's say you've got all your Google Docs, and let's say you do, track changes and commenting on your Google Doc. Well, it's an entire separate system, and every time you want to reference something, you're then going back to the PDF or whatever. But with Collabrix and everything in the cloud, everything is attached to the content. If you want to discuss a line of dialogue, your comments are attached to that dialogue. If you're discussing a location, you go to the location and you're looking at that. You can upload photos, or everyone's looking at the same photos. And all of that discussion and collaboration is present right next to the information. So you never have to, the goal is to, you never have to double do anything. If you want someone to review a video, you don't need to put it in another platform, send them links, and navigate an entirely separate communication channel. That's, a main goal of what we're achieving, and why that's very different than anything else people are currently using.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm just like playing with the site right now. So we uploaded our script in there. Sorry, I need to talk into my mic. We did upload our script in there. We were playing around in here the other day.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
And it is, like, so under you got your script in there, and then under it, like, it'll give you your versions, your scenes, your characters, your locations. It already does those breakdowns, which is really cool. And then I love here, like, I can add labels. I'm under locations. I can add labels and I can add comments just in them itself. And it gives me breakdowns of how many times you're in those locations. Like all of that is stuff that other programs do, but getting them all into
All
one
in place.
is really fantastic. And then there's some fun things in here like planning, resources, and events. And this is the one that like put me over the edge with like, so all of that is like, to me, all that's the story and the sexy part of, of making a movie. This is the where your pre-pro actually is happening, is you can put in here like equipment that you're renting and when you have it, and then production site. What is this production sites one? What am I doing here? What is
So the idea, and
is that my house location that I just rented that I have for a month? And
yeah. So that's also, we're now into kind of prototype realm. So I will add the caveat that our script writing tools and script management tools are what we're going to go to market with first.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
the things that are kind of already in there in that kind of public alpha is, things that are forward looking.
This is going to be freaking amazing, though. Like the idea that even within this, like, because you could stop at just all of your story part involved, like your script and your locations and your strip boards and all that being in one site. But if you can also put if this isn't all a go-to, like everything I can do, my equipment rental, like is all listed in here, and everyone can see it and everyone can be on the same.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
gosh.
the idea with that is, you might have equipment that's tied to a location. You might have equipment that's tied to a specific scene. Or you might have costumes or props or other resources that you need to manage. So when you get to a moment and you're like, oh, I've lost this location, and I need to find another location, because everything is interconnected, it can say, whoa, here are all the resources that are attached to that. Here's the impact of what this change means.
Yeah.
If you need to add a day to your production schedule at a site, but you already know all the equipment, the day rates for renting equipment, the people and their day rates, like travel times between locations, it would assess the impact of that change before you're making it and before you click a button and push it out to your team.
Holy cow.
Wow. Wow,
See,
that's
that's what I'm
impressive.
saying. This is now big companies, they can afford all the all the big, HBO. Is that HBO even exist anymore? I'm not sure. Everyone's merging. I have no idea which
Yeah,
companies
we
still
have no idea.
exist. But they're out there. There's someone who's in charge of each of these things, and it's such a big Titanic moving machine. Like,
Hmm.
they don't need this kind of stuff. But when you're scrappy, like if you can get all this, because you can't afford all of the movie maker magic and the
No.
blah blah blah, and
Oh,
like
it's
I didn't
so
even
expensive.
like if you can get it all into one place, it would be phenomenally useful. There's also on here events, which I think is, I mean, you can put your film days on here, but like all of our meetings, like
Hmm.
I think Allison would
Oh my gosh.
freak out over
Allison's our
this.
executive
Oh
producer,
my
and she's the
gosh.
one managing all of the communication and organization at this point. Like, she's become the main, the giant wheel that's making all of us keep turning is Allison. She would love this thing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, being able to like put all of the meetings on the calendar. So like when our director and our DP are meeting, we just happen to know in the background, like, oh yeah, they're already meeting on this day. I
Hmm.
don't have to know that. It doesn't need to end up on my personal Google Calendar, but just being aware that these things are happening and being taken care of as producers that we are, like
Hmm.
we're now trying to pull back and become more actors, but we're still worried that like, are things getting taken care of? Are they going on? To be able to see the team working in the
Hmm.
background would be such a soothing element to me. Like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
great, things are going on.
I
And
mean,
go ahead.
one of the nice top, for the producer level, being able to see like these are all of the active discussions.
Yeah.
Here are all the things that are unresolved. Here are the things that are
Hmm.
waiting for approvals
Mm-hmm.
that and oh, this thing is stuck. And someone's waiting for this approval and now a whole portion of the
Hmm.
production is waiting on this one thing and you can see that because that information is accessible.
Well, and what I was going to say is that there are things out there that do this same kind of teamwork collaboration for project management um, in other industries.
Right.
There's not one in ours. And yes, you can
Mm-hmm.
use them just like we're using Google Docs or just like someone would use, there's different teams, things out there. But if it's not meant for that, there's always going to be holes and you're always shoehorning yourself into something that doesn't quite fit you. As opposed to like one of the things that I'm loving about this is the fact that I can have multiple projects and like I could have I don't have I don't Google doesn't have multiple projects. It's got multiple docs that I have put all my
Oh
projects
my
in.
goodness.
But like
Yeah.
having this for because people are often working on multiple projects. You've got multiple scripts that are in different varying stages of development or production or post production. Being able to click on that next tab and going, I don't need to do my turns out with my turns out team right now. Right now I'm working on intense. That yes, like I said, I know people who work in the corporate world and work in product innovation, and they have things like this, but they're not meant for movie making, and so they're not. You're using things that are not meant for that,
Mm-hmm.
and things fall through the crack, and now you're like again spending way too much time making it work for you versus it being intuitive to
Yeah.
help you. That's
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
Because at the
floored.
end of the day, movie making is like building a product to go to market. There is a lot of similarities, but it is a uniquely strange industry in its own way. And there's just doing my taxes alone is a weird like. I'm like trying to explain to my tax preparer what a prop is. So like now I just go to a tax preparer who works in the entertainment industry who understands like, oh yeah, here's how I translate this information to something the government understands. Same
Hmm.
gaps. Like we've got the same weird like little pieces that are going to get lost
Hmm.
without something specifically designed for our industry that is up to date.
Yeah.
Wow.
To your earlier point about kind of the big studios and how they manage this, it there's such just a brute force element to it. It's like I'm gonna throw people at this, and
Hmm.
you get the people who's like, all I do is I manage communication. All I do is manage files so that everybody has the right file that they're looking for, and I look at that and I hate all the efforts to cut creatives, and it's like they're
Mm.
not the people that need cut. Like you don't need somebody who's just printing different color versions of scripts and running them to people.
Yeah.
That job doesn't need to exist.
Yeah.
And but the flip side for little indie productions is capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not losing people, but you need to, even when I work on stuff largely by myself, my capacity changes dramatically when I can organize that sensibly and
Hmm.
intuitively, and I'm not spending half my time managing data and moving around data and
Yeah.
connecting dots when I need to.
Yeah, there's a world, I mean, so I just built a whole Canva for wardrobe because I'm sharing wardrobe information, and I was like, I spent a day building this Canva. Now,
Mm-hmm.
it's fine because it needed to happen, but if there's an amount of work you have to do on the front end. It's always going to be uploading, and AI is going to be able to take care of some of those things, whatever. But there is an amount of like onboarding stuff that's going to always have to happen. But it being streamlined after that, like, is like, okay, can you just make the changes so I don't have to go into every single, I don't have to reset. Canva's now great because I don't have to resend a thing to someone when I've made a change on this spreadsheet that I've done of pictures, and even Pinterest boards we were shoehorning it into Pinterest boards
Mm-hmm.
before. So
Mm.
like anytime you can find that thing, but if it had a wardrobe plot, like you said, there's pictures you can upload in here. If I could do it all in one spot and not also have to have a Canva or not also have to have a Google Slides, like
Yeah.
that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, a key driving force for me is organizing at the point of creation.
Mm.
So, for example, I need someone to do voiceover. I want them, when they're recording it, attaching it to those lines of script. They
Oh
don't have
wow.
to cut things, they don't have to edit it, they don't have to send it, and you have to then chop and manage. It's already attached to that script at the moment that they record it.
Wow.
And
Wow.
then 5 weeks from them, as someone rewrites the script, it flags, oh, this audio recording needs replaced. And
Mm-hmm.
then you can just click a button and the voiceover artist knows this line needs re-recorded, and they can just click it and re-record it, and it
Wow.
drops back into animatics. All of those assets
Mm-hmm.
automatically update because
Wow.
th're all connected.
That's so cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, so I feel like we're answering this question already, but I just want to like clearly ask it.
Yeah.
Like in as far as scope, where you're headed, where do you see this program? Like what is the hope for this? Like is this going to be the one-stop shop for everything that you ever need to creatively or logistically collaborate all in this one website? So I'm talking storyboards, I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
Natalie's wardrobe, I'm talking like, is that the goal here? Like as you build this to be that place?
It Yes and no. It should be the central place for everything. And my comparison is unfortunately in the software world called GitHub. GitHub became the central repository for every piece of software development. In film production, so let's say, I'm not going to build a full video editor. There's no reason to replace a video editor.
Right.
But in the cloud, you should be able to get to a rough cut, and then you click a button and it should drop into your video editor and you can polish in your video editor. You should be able to click a button, push your updates back to the cloud, and now you've got track changes, and your director can say, oh, this shot changed, this got longer, this got added, and spend 5 minutes reviewing the actual changes instead of just sending them a new video file being like, okay, watch your 30-minute episode and now tell me what you like of this one. Like
Mm.
it So in many ways, it'll be an exchange between existing software, creative software. Um, but the idea is that when you make your changes, you push it back to the cloud. It lets everyone know there's a new version. This is what changed. Like you don't have to manage that data in that process. And if you need approvals, if you need a supervisor who needs to approve that and then push it on to a director who needs to sign off on something like that, that should all be in the one platform.
Wow, that's like I'm just trying to imagine like all the different tools I use, like what's missing, but I can't think of anything. Like like I'm like scriptation for my scripts. I've 5 different programs I've got going right now for strip boarding. Like it's madness. Like that, and then editing. That's so insane. I'm excited to know like when do you think that this will be ready? Like I know you talked about your first rollout. When will that happen? And then I guess as a business thing, when are you projecting these things to come start rolling out as well?
Um, Still aiming for March for our
Okay.
first
Oh,
public
wow.
rollout. So,
Wow.
but the
Sorry,
caveat,
that's so soon.
it is. I was just 6 years and two
Well,
two
yeah, yeah,
months.
yeah, yeah.
But no, that piece would be script composition, editing, and management, and it'll get you to the point where you can send links to your script. You can share it with all of your team members so that everybody can access it. All the commenting in the cloud. You can manage. You can see who's read your script. You can push updates so people can review. It's all about just the script, and but unlike other software, it's addressing the entire life cycle of the script. Like it's not just
Okay.
the writing process. It's this script has to exist and live and change throughout the entire production. So that's the little tiny piece that we're publishing, so that we have something on the market and revenues and whatnot. The other pieces I am still developing actively, and basically we're pulling in productions like yours that would be at the right time that could start implementing tools that are not public. So somebody who's about to step into pre-production, they've got their script and they're ready to start planning that. That's an ideal partner to come in. We'll say, look, we'll get you access to those tools. You can use them. You know, we're going to talk regularly about what you need.
Okay.
Like, so, I had a friend who they needed their sites, they needed their equipment, and they needed to, be able to tell. And I don't know, they had like 7 different film crews because it was a big documentary. They like all these 7 camera teams all need to have diagrams of the location. We need to be able to draw like camera chain 1 needs to be here, camera team 2, etc. And I
Yeah.
was like, I will get those up to speed so that you can use that on that production. And so that's kind of that's the position there where we are, where we're bringing in productions that are just kind of right in that perfect space, that are going to use what we're polishing up, and can implement it and give us really, really good feedback about how it's going, so that
Okay.
we can polish things up and change it. And then at some later date, depending largely on what money we have and how much I can
Right.
pay other coders to do these things for me,
Right.
will determine the speed at which we can roll out pieces.
Wow.
Okay. So you're kind of like in the phase now where you're actively looking for projects that are starting the pre-production process so that you can test run some of the features that might not be available to the public right now. That's what I'm just saying
Yeah.
it back to you. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, that's
so
pretty cool.
if they're trying to organize their equipment, their locations, if they're working
Okay.
through storyboards and animatics, if they're doing that level of pre-production,
Ooh.
those tools are, I don't know, 2 weeks away from being functional, so that someone could actually use it on a production.
Oh, wow.
And then,
Okay.
but it might be 3 or 4 months to polish
Mm-hmm.
all those
Yeah.
pieces until
Yeah.
we're like, I can actually charge somebody for this.
Right.
That's kind of the
Yeah,
gap, of
understandable.
that beta tester gap.
Yeah.
So I guess like I'm sure that money is a part of this, but like what is the biggest hurdles right now to like really getting Collabrix out there? And I'm saying this also in case there's any investors out there that might be like, I want in on this.
Yeah. It's the scope. I mean, to a degree,
Okay.
it's an all or nothing. There's a reason why other software haven't done this. Is because it's easier and cheaper to just do a sliver. And if you do that well, people will throw money at you and you'll have a successful business. And I'm not that kind of entrepreneur. I'm a filmmaker, and I actually needed this tool to solve the bigger issues, and because I'm willing to put in the years to develop it and make that happen. But the real value add that we've been discussing is when you've got 8 different tools all working together, and that's kind of a massive lift.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a huge undertaking too. I don't want to like put you on. We've already said this, but I just want to make the call really clear. So for users out there who are filmmakers, I would think this would be great for short films to get in there and start using our indie filmmaker brethren. Are you open to them getting on Collabrix, starting to use it, and potentially being these test pilot filmmakers for you? Like, is that
Oh yeah.
where we're at? Okay, great.
Yeah. So, I mean, people in this very moment could go to Collabrix.studio, register, and start using it at this moment.
Okay.
Um, it's the next steps that's like we're going to talk through some, because I'm not going to put a production into our system where it's going to fail halfway through their production. Like we're going to talk about your
Yeah.
timeline, what needs that you have, and we're going to have a real discussion before you
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
jump into the next tools. Yeah.
You're
Like
being a saint for thinking of that. Yeah.
yeah, you guys are, way too far along. There would be no point
Right.
to
Yeah, it
try.
would be. Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate your moderation because so often you hear these entrepreneurs with their site like, yeah, get in there, we're ready for you. I love that you're like, we want to make sure this doesn't fail mid-production. So I'm going to say this really explicitly for our indie filmmaker friends out there. Indie filmmaker friends, if
Yeah.
you want an opportunity to use something that's really exciting, and Natalie and I have been poking at it, it's really freaking cool, and you've got a project coming up. We've got one later this year, so I will be
Right.
bothering Thomas for sure. Get on the
Yeah.
site and go check it out and go sign up because I'm genuinely excited about what this site has to offer, especially for people at our level trying to organize these projects and not burn our hours managing our Google Docs.
Yeah. And I'm really proud to say that, it's built by filmmakers for filmmakers. And that's not an easy thing to say. It's
Very
also,
cool.
we haven't raised the venture capital.
Right.
So this has been basically bootstrapped to this point, which means that we don't have an investor class that expects, X amount of growth and X amount of return, and then they're taking a bunch of money. And I, it's that venture money is great to have that $1 million and expand and get to market quickly and deliver that. But every other piece of software that you use falls down that rabbit hole. And it's like, why change? Why should we change everything? Because we're already making bank, and it stops working for people. And,
Oh, man.
there's so many that are out there that it's like, I don't use this anymore. And you don't address my needs or make improvements, and something else needs to exist.
Yeah.
It's that old adage that you think money is going to solve all your problems. Being handed $1 million budget is not actually going to fix your feature film. There's so much else that is more important, that sometimes you're better off with less money. That's freaking cool. I'm going to take slight hard left. Okay, there's two things I want to cover before we run out of time. Thomas, you said something amazing before we even went live, and I'm
yeah.
shoehorning that in right now.
Yeah.
I'm making it freaking happen because I think people need to hear this. Thomas,
What was
what
this
did you
quote that you?
say?
Yeah. What was this quote you told us?
It was the natural state of a movie is to not be made.
Yeah. we were pre-show chatting about and just lamenting just the movie getting moved up, and and I'm constantly in flux of like, I don't want to do this. And
Can I quit now?
yeah, I'm just
How do
gonna
I get
quit
bought
now.
out? Jokes, all jokes. Allison, don't worry, it's all jokes.
How do I get out of this? But yeah, I was like, you said that, and I was like, oh, I feel it in my bones.
It's
Then
so true.
Yeah, you got to fight. You're fighting all the time to keep it alive. Like many of my house plants, it's
Yeah.
just constant uphill
Yeah.
battle.
The amount of movies that are sitting on, like, scripts that are sitting on shelves in inboxes, there are more movies that could get made than are ever possible to be made. Like, it is 1% of movies that actually get made. A movie's natural state is to not get made because it is such a difficult endeavor. And like doing this pre-production system, this method that's going through this pre-production right now, I have a very real world visceral experience of like, yeah, this movie doesn't want to happen. It wants to fall
Right?
apart. It
Well,
doesn't.
I mean, there's a rite of passage as like a first time filmmaker, and when you go to festivals, you see them, because we've all been there. Was like, I finished the film, now everything is going to happen, and you're like, oh no, everything still takes effort.
Yeah.
It never gets better.
But there is no break. You finished it great, but then you got to get it to festivals. You got to get audiences. Like, you can't just get into a festival. You have to market it, and you have to, like, it's
You're never
endless.
done. You're never done.
And Nobody tells you that.
No, we're telling you that. We're all telling
We're
you that.
telling it. We are telling you
we're
that.
shouting it from the rooftops.
Pick any other hobby. We're telling you right now.
I have this thing about since I moved to Utah, actually since I've been out here, and Tara would come into town and she'd try to open a door and a door wouldn't want to open. Like it's just like it's like in Utah you got to want it, and I don't
Gotta
know
want
what
it.
I mean. It's so much dirt and dust out here that I think everything just breaks down so much quicker. Like doors, I tried to go to the ranch yesterday, and
Oh my
I couldn't
gosh.
open the doors. The doors to the trailers are so full of dirt that I could not get them to unlock. Like it was, I mean, it was there was everything that could go wrong on that trip did. But my mantra out here is in Utah, you gotta want it. But I think the same thing is true in
Yes.
filmmaking. You gotta want it.
You gotta
You
want
you
it.
gotta want it
And it
really
never
bad
stops.
because
No matter
it is
what level,
not gonna be
there's
easy.
no level you can get to. No, if you think winning an Oscar or getting up to the highest echelon is going to solve the problem of you got to want it, it not happening. Even the biggest of the bigs, the biggest directors you can name have to work so hard for every penny they get, not for them, to make the movie. And it never stops.
Yeah.
You gotta commit and you gotta want it in this industry.
I will say that I found an enormous kinship in the entrepreneurship community because it's the same way. The parallels between making a film and starting a business are endless, and so I found this lovely community in that, and everybody's making apps. But I was introduced that I actually got into the community like I want to make an animation studio, and how do I do that? And my mentor became my co-producer, and he had a tech entrepreneurship background, and he's like, I can set up the investment vehicle, and like I know people with money, and I'm like, great, like all the things that I can't do. And
Right.
so I encourage any creative and filmmaker like connect with that community because there are resources, and
That's cool.
just we're making businesses. We
Yeah.
are entrepreneurs. You can't make a film without being an entrepreneur.
That is such a good way to put it. Speaking of your film, I want to just take a moment really quick. How much of about the feature can you tell us? I'd love to know, like, what's the name or logline or any. I
Yeah.
understand if you can't, but what you got?
It's also called The Encounter, which is
Okay.
confusing every time I talk about it. But it's similar vein for my short films. So my short films on YouTube and on my website, the
Okay.
13-minute sci-fi adventure. And then basically I scaled it up into a feature film. It's about kind of a rookie in a secret government agency who wants to befriend aliens, and he's in a culture that shoots down everything that moves. And so I don't know. I like to say it's How to Train Your Dragons, but with aliens. And so he
Oh,
befriends
nice.
the alien. Yeah, so he befriends the alien, and tries to kind of diffuse that sort of inherent hostility. It's different because I make animation not for kids. I make animation for adults, but this is family friendly, so your kids can watch it with you. But it really is written for the adults in the room. It's adult characters, adult problems. It's about a dysfunctional workplace, and it happens to revolve around aliens. So we're kind of sticking to a more of a realistic, more realism like you get out of like Love, Death, and Robots. They're those sort of like
Yeah.
motion capture driven like 3D animation rather than cartoons.
Okay.
It's really embracing that sort of realism. And I don't know, one of my favorite things about my short film is that I came out of a live action background. So the camera moves like a cinematographer moves a real camera. And after I finished the film and saw it up on screen, it dawned on me. It was like, oh, that's a flavor that I brought to this that other people don't have.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of, so really every aspect of the production has kind of got that level of realism and flawed characters and just stepping away from that, I don't know, the tropey, you know, dumbed down for kids animation that I don't want to sit down with my kids. I'm a weird animator. I don't watch a lot of animated films because they don't appeal to me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
my kids don't either. Like, there's a lot
Your
of good
kids
TV.
don't appeal to you?
Um,
That's what I heard.
no, they don't watch a lot of animated features. There's a lot
Oh,
of animated TV
interesting.
that's good and has the very different types of stories and dynamics, but the features, I don't know.
It's its own genre. Yeah, it's not.
It is.
It's not.
yeah. And there's so many similar stories. The 90% are family strife. You know, I sat down with my daughter, we watched Mitchell versus the Machines, and she was maybe 7, hated it. Like 20 minutes in was like, Dad, turn this off. And I thought that was strange, but came back and watched the end of it, loved it. But the first 40 minutes are just this daughter fighting with her dad. And it's like, well, I understand why you don't want to watch this movie about this just daughter fighting with her dad for 40 minutes. And
So interesting.
that sort of stuff, like, I also get it. Like, I really don't want to see that either. That doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, we're getting close to the end here. Before you go, I want to make sure everyone has a chance to go to the website. If you're a filmmaker and you're interested, actively seeking people to test pilot this. Again, Ashblog, I see you out there in the world. You should go look at this. The website is called Collabrix.
Wow.
I got into my own head. I got my own head on that one. Collabrix, COLLBARIX. Is that correct?
Yes.
Am I spelling that correct? .com. Go to that
Studio.
site.
Studio.
Studio. Yeah.
Dot studio. Thank you. I do. If you're watching this live on YouTube, I do have a link for you in our description to go check it out. Go check it out. Also, Thomas, where can the people find you if they want to follow along on your adventures as a filmmaker or other? Where can people find you?
ThomasDeCarlo.com is kind of my primary thing, because I have multiple companies and various channels and whatnot. But yeah, that's kind of where the cohesive me exists.
Excellent. Thomas, thank you so much for joining us. This is so cool. I am so excited about this. I am cheering for you because I want this to happen so bad. So I am rooting for you, and I'm very, very proud of you. Thank you for your time, and that is a wrap on Thomas.
Thank
Clap,
you.
clap, 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 clap,
Thank you. It's been fun.
All right.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
So much to cover there. That is such a giant thing. Like
I don't think it does it justice to know how all-encompassing this program could be, and I am genuinely
You need to go poke
so
around
excited.
in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be a part of the test pilot team because we've already talked about
Next
using this
project,
for. Yes. So okay, all right. Before we wrap this up officially, my favorite section of the day, the Abby Singer shot. If you are new to us, this is our vocabulary section. Natalie and I realized how much vocabulary we needed to learn that we didn't know, or things that we assumed the meaning but didn't really know. And then we named it the Abby Singer shot because if you didn't know, the Abby Singer shot is the second to last shot of the day.
Second last
Setup of the day. This one and then another is how it goes. Natalie, take it away.
Yeah. So, I mean, some of this was stuff that, we didn't know. We were doing our homework, but also like when talking to the audience, we realized there's a lot of terms that we just have and we say things and, and people just take them for granted. Today's is very simple, but I was trying to find something that was moving from pre-production into production. And hot set. It is not like hot yoga. It is not, we're not turning up the heat and all sweating. We may sweat.
It sounds like it.
A hot set is when someone's done all the set deck and all the set is ready to film. That means this is a functional set. Do not touch any of those props. Like, you don't get to walk into that room and move the keyboard. This is a hot set. We have started filming on this. Everything is exactly where we need it to be. Do not touch anything on the set because people will start walking through and moving lamps and stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
no, this is a hot set. We had it with an office set that we were doing up in Dubuque, the one I filmed in Dubuque.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, can I rearrange this? And they're like, no, don't touch anything in this room. Like, this is a hot set.
Yeah.
Don't touch and don't move a Post-it note. Like, whatever you do,
As a human, you don't realize how often you idly reach over to a desk or someplace, pick an object up, and then put it back not where you found it. Like, I am very bad about picking up shiny objects and then setting them down somewhere else. Don't touch. It's a reminder to the human part of your brain. Don't touch this.
Well, and
it's set.
sometimes it's hard because you're not necessarily on a set. If you're on a set, it gets like easier. Like if you're actually on a studio set and you're like, everything is a prop. Everything was brought in here. But when you're in an office space or something like that and you're shooting on a location, it's harder to tell your brain not a kitchen.
Oh,
You're in a
yes.
kitchen. Like all of this is practical things. No, do not touch anything. Don't
No,
ever touch. You know what?
it's all been
As default, don't touch
curated.
anything.
Oh, it's a theater thing. The prop table, don't touch the prop table. If it's not your
Don't touch
prop,
anything.
don't touch it. Amazing. All right. If you are out there and you want to support us in any way, shape, or form financially, we have several mechanisms to do that. PayPal is a great way. Those PayPals go straight to us. If you're watching us live on YouTube, the Super Chats is a great way. And if you Super Chat us, we will directly say your comment now in this section of the show. And also, if you have been watching and want to be an investor, want to get a part of this in a bigger way, we do have a way to make that happen. Just email us, and then you'll get to talk to Allison, who is the coolest and most organized producer.
The coolest and most organized.
I think she's so cool. I told Mike the other day in our like one-on-one casting, or not casting, our one-on-one script conversation. I was like, I want to be Allison when I grow up. Like that's where we've gotten with Allison. You get to talk to Allison. She's so cool. So yeah, if you want to do that, email us. We will get back to you really fast because time is of the essence. Next week we will have an episode coming up. That's going to be January 21st, Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. We're going to be talking to Alex Lugo and his site called filmpro.ai. So we've been poking around at Film Pro. This is, again, in that pre-production workflow lens that we're in. This is specifically a pre-production workflow that heavily relies on AI to do a lot of the heavy lifting. So if you're a one-man band, this is a site that would take care of that. The site says your AI co-producer helps you and your team plan, answer questions, and stay organized. It's an intelligent assistant built to grow your workflow. So if you're a one person trying to get things going, this sounds like it might be like using ChatGPT in a smart way. So if that interests you, join us next week for that. If you are listening to this podcast and you want to be a part of the conversation in real time, join us on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Get in the chat. We are reading that chat as we do the show, and we are weaving those questions and comments into the conversation. You just don't know it because we're so good at it. You can't tell. If you're watching the show live on YouTube right now and you're like, man, I wish I could like go do something else and not have to like look at this right now, or I want to watch it, I want to listen to it later. The podcast comes out every week about 24 to 48 hours after the show goes with really good audio, sweetened it up. So you're not having to turn your audio all the way up for us right now. All right, guys, we appreciate you so much for joining us. We are counting down the days to production now. It's getting intense. Keep tuning in and keep watching as we make this little situation happen. Okay, guys, stay safe, make movies. See you guys in a week.
Wowza yowza.
I'm gonna level with you guys. I have to pee so bad right now. That whole time.
Go ahead, Tara. I'll hold down the fort.
You got it? Okay, I'll be
Yeah.
back so fast.
I believe you. And she's off.
I was the like, I'm gonna go 2 minutes before we start.
Oh
immediately
no,
after we
Thomas, we're
finish.
Thomas, just so you know, we are still live. You can join us again if you want to. I was going to mute you again. This is that part where we talk to the audience. I'm glad you didn't say anything that bothered you, Thomas. Yeah, I have had to jump up in the middle of shows and run to the restroom. Not during the podcast so far, luckily. Yes, guys, we have moved up production and we are filming in not enough days away, and it is terrifying. I'm freaking the F out. You guys should hear this story. I will tell the story of yesterday, me trying to go to the ranch while Tara is not here. So yesterday I drove up to the ranch to try to buy, to grab props. I don't have to buy them. They're already bought. When you have a ranch, you have some of the things you need for your post-apocalyptic set deck and for your post-apocalyptic uh adventures. And so I was like, I need to get up there, I need to take pictures of the items I have, instead of just saying, oh, I know where that is, because I can't find my machete. um and I drove up there, and halfway to the ranch, I get an email, or I get a call from Justin, that 2 days ago the roads were not great for driving up there. The roads were not great. So I am like, well, should I turn around? Are they, it's been 2 days, 2 more days. Has it dried out? Can I drive up there in my little Honda Accord? And we came to the agreement. I was halfway there. Let's just go the rest of the way. And you'll be able to tell when you get, so like on the road to the ranch, it's blacktop. We call it blacktop. It's paved road. And then it goes to dirt road for the second half of it. And that dirt is red mud. When it gets wet, it is the slipperiest thing. Like, it is like ice skating. You could, when you try to walk on it, it is like, it is the slipperiest mud in the world. Anyway, so everything was fine until I got I don't even know what the distance is. I was like 40 feet from the ranch, and suddenly I'm like in soup. Like, this car
Ugh.
is now like, I am like, I don't know how I'm going to make it through. I don't think it's going to work out. I mean, I hit a couple little rough patches before that, but I am now like, I am the, I don't know how the car made it through. Like, I do not know how I got to the other side. And then, so I get to the ranch, and I pull onto the ranch, and I drive up to the ranch house, and I had to like drive through the fields in order to get there, because I couldn't actually drive on our little side road. It was just too worn down. And there's reception there. There's no reception the rest of the way to the ranch. The ranch is a black hole.
Ugh.
And so I call Justin, and I'm like, okay, well, that was treacherous. I don't think I should turn around and go back the other direction. I mean, the ranch is on a mesa, so it's a horseshoe, and there's a whole drive around, but we never go that way, because it adds another 10 miles onto your drive to go the other direction. Which anyway, it's like a half hour onto the trip. But I was like, should I go the other direction? And everyone had this consensus of like, Natalie, we don't know what the other direction looks like either. It's all dirt road too, but like, it's like, is it better to go with the unknown, or is it better to try to drive back the way you came? And I'm like, I don't think I can make it back the way I came. Like, am I going to have to stay up here overnight to wait for it to dry? I would not have been here for this. So I decide to go the other direction. I start texting Tara. I'm like, this was the worst
It was
idea I've ever had.
it was so stressful.
It was very, very stressful. I have some of it on tape.
Uh,
I I
mhm.
recorded it in the car, and I'm at one point in time saying, like, I'm I'm in the mud. I am like driving through the mud, and it is like the car's doing whatever. I was never in danger of dying. I was in danger of just losing my car forever in the mud. Um,
Mhm.
and I was like, it's not ideal, but it's doable. It's not ideal, but it's doable. It's not ideal. And I'd realized that I am
Ooh.
just trying to amp myself up, because I am so worried I'm not going to make it through. I ended up driving on someone else's ranch, because there was a part where I was like, I'm looking up ahead, and I can see the stretch of road, and I'm like, I don't think my car can go through that, but I can't, like, I'm either turning around or I'm going, and I'm like, I can get up. So I got up on this person's in ranch on the side, like, there was enough room for me to drive on their property. And the whole time I'm like, this isn't a good idea, like this, but I made it.
Jeez. It was like,
I made it.
as your compatriot in life, like the text messages, because I knew I wasn't getting enough information. And I'm like, I don't know how scared I need to be, how dire this, like, but you're sending me information. So I'm like, at least she's texting me. Okay. And I'm like, what do I say that's not going to freak you out more?
Oh,
But also,
yeah.
like, do, if we got to go find you, can we find you? Oh my
Well,
God. I
that's
was
the
so
thing.
stressed.
So I was trying to like send information
Yeah.
whenever possible. I told everyone, guys, I'm going to turn right coming out of the ranch. I'm going to
Smart.
go down that road. If it looks worse than what I went through, then I'll turn around, and I was just going to come back to the ranch. I wasn't going to try to make it through that again.
Yeah.
I do not know how the car. So I get back to like paved road, and I have on tape when I keep saying on tape, I have recorded like me seeing the road,
Ugh.
and go, and like the sheer like relax. I mean, I was so
Mm-hmm.
stressed. So I pull over, like I looked in my wheel well, and there was 5 inches at least of red mud in the top of my wheel well holding it. And I took a ice scraper and I'm in there scraping dirt out, like, because I was like, I can't drive like this. And that
Horrifying.
mud does not come out. It is.
No. You're
Mm-mm.
gonna want it. No, that
Oh
mud
my
is
gosh.
permanent.
It was such a bad idea. I didn't know how bad it was until, like, literally I was in front of our ranch when I was like, oh no, now I can't do this anymore. And there's no
Yeah.
room to turn around. You cannot turn around. You're in it and
You're
you're
in.
done. And it's like, okay, keep going. So
When
it's
you made
either
this choice,
stay
you
there
gotta go
and wait for
forward.
it to dry,
Yeah.
which while the sun was out, it could be days before.
Days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
It looked oh my gosh. So I was, Tara doesn't even know this part. I was laying in bed last night and I could feel myself fishtailing still.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Because that always
Oh.
happens for me.
Yeah.
Like I have
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
if I'm on a boat or if I'm in an elevator too many times in a day, I can feel it when I lay down still. Like I could just feel my body like wiggling like this. Like, oh, so awful.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
so
Like
stressful.
every little fiber of my being, like, just has that explosive feeling, the stress level that gives me, like, just like that weird feeling in my chest, and like all my
Oh, it was
little
awful.
nerves
Yeah.
go just in sympathy, because I know how that feels, like having driven through
Uh-huh.
floodwaters, having driven through
Uh-huh.
snow, and I'm not a snow driver. Like I know exactly how that feels. That's
Like,
horrifying.
yeah. I mean, I will say I never was in danger. Like
Yeah.
I was in danger of getting stuck and having to wade through
Yeah,
mud.
yeah.
You know, like I was not the parts of the mountain where you'll fall off were all okay. Because there
Ugh.
are parts of that mountain that you can just slide off.
Yeah.
And those parts were all dry enough. Like that wasn't an issue. It was really just and then the weird thing would have been my car would have gotten stuck there and no one would have been able to get around where it was going to get stuck. Like
Oh, right.
it literally would have blocked the road. And
Yeah.
like someone could have tried to pull that out, but I don't know how we would have gotten to even hitch it. Like
Yeah.
it was almost worst case scenario.
Yeah, that. Ooh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad we're in the timeline where you're not stuck up there, because just the stress level of all of that is bad domino.
Oh my God. It was
Goodness.
rough.
Yeah, so already, like, in this, post, we're picking up production by 1 week version of life. Things are already very exciting. There's already like crazy stories floating around that we're gonna, I'm sure, tell in the Q&As of like, yeah, Natalie almost got her car stuck in the mud
Yeah.
to go up and get, information and pictures and some stuff that we need for the movie. Like, this
David-
wasn't like a fun adventure.
Sorry, David, I did not put the placard up there because Justin wasn't with me. He's going with me next week when we gather the props. So I was like, but it was the first time I've been up to the ranch since we buried Pumpkin up there. I did say
Oh,
hi.
yeah.
Like I was like,
Did you?
yeah. Like I come up to the gate. I'm like, hi, Pumpkin. Hi,
Aw.
Winchester.
I saw
Yeah.
the best orange cat video I almost sent you, but I'm always like, I don't want to make her sad. But it's this guy talking about his orange cat. He's literally holding his orange cat upside down the entire video. He's like, I thought the model that I had was going to do these things, but the model that I have, and it keeps cutting to like the cat being kind of crazy and stuff. It was really fun. You've owned, Pumpkin wasn't your first orange cat either. Was Thomas orange?
Thomas
He
was
was- I
orange.
know he was a fluffy,
Marla
but,
was
like,
orange. Flower
Marla
was
was orange.
orange. Flower, my
Yeah.
very first cat was orange.
Orange cats.
I've actually only had orange cats. Justin had Tallulah. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
Tallulah. But I've personally only ever owned orange cats.
A random side story that this pet ownership has made me think about. I might get a hamster because of this movie, guys. I'm actually kind of jazzed about, like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, if that, I was like, if I do wind up with a okay, so here, I'll back up and explain to you. So we did a little bit of a tactical rewrite to one of the key elements of the script. Winchester, we wrote Winchester into this movie because we had Winchester and we knew Winchester was a good actor. He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
However, we no longer have Winchester, and also the more we creatively started talking about the character and the pet and just, what's funny, what's levels, la la la, we decided to change Winchester to a different animal. His name's going to stay the same, but we're going
Maybe.
to change him. Okay, it's up to you. I like the name a lot because I think
I like the
it's
name a lot, but I don't. It just has to feel right.
true. We have to meet the hamster. So we've
So a
decided to
hamster
change.
or a bunny, though.
Or a bunny. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm less interested in owning a bunny. Anyways, but I
You're
will do
not
what I
going
gotta
to
do.
take this animal.
Yes, I am. So the idea is that we're going to now look for an acting hamster, which is not a big stretch, guys, or a bunny, to play this role. And I
Both
was like,
would be so much easier to work with than a cat.
oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
And I told in the meeting on Monday, I was like, listen, guys, listen. If we need to get a new hamster and cast the hamster, like put them through auditions, get the hamster. If we need me to adopt this hamster to make this happen, I'm actually really into the idea of it. I don't know why. I just like I love this idea. I
Hamsters
love
are
the character.
stinky.
They are, but I think I'd be a good person for that level of care because
Yeah.
sure, and I already have a spot picked out in my house where the
Oh
hamster cage
my
would go.
gosh.
I'm not kidding.
How are you
I've
getting
like
the hamster back, Tara?
I will work on it. Well, if we're driving back, I will
Yeah,
figure
in a
it out.
Full car.
I will he will sit on my lap and we will ride together. It will be our first adventure together. Don't, John Rogers, stop it. Don't get me going. A hedgehog. Stop it, John. That's adorable. And
I've been watching porcupine videos.
have you? I've almost
They make the cutest noises. Oh my
they
gosh.
do.
Yeah.
I have almost distracted myself so many times with doing hamster care research.
No ferret. No,
It's
so
what
whatever,
no ferret.
Whatever it is needs to not move very much.
Yeah.
for-
To buy, I love
we
your
need
idea.
To sit there.
Ferrets are cute, but we need it to be a little more. Ferrets are not easy to control.
Yeah, I need.
Like I thought about sugar squirrels, but they're hard to control too. Like sugar squirrels are
Yeah.
a pain. Yeah, hamster. I'm
a hamster, a gerbil would work.
a gerbil.
Yeah.
A gerbil works too. Something
A
of
bunny
that.
rabbit mostly would work. You'd have to have
Bunny
the right
rabbit?
bunny. We're not just going to get a bunny. It has to be somebody's bunny
No,
that they know.
we'd have to already
will
have a
sit.
bunny.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to
Cats
know
are
that the bunny.
impossible.
Cat. Black Raven, Shannon, I love you. Black Raven, I personally want a Black Raven. We've got
You can adopt whatever one we use on set, Tara.
we
You're
got
not bringing that back in my car.
if I fly, I'm flying with a hamster. I gotta look it up and see if I can fly with my hamster. I don't know. I'm gonna look into it. I'm
Oh
gonna
my
look into
gosh.
it. Yeah, because there's two versions of reality. One where I'm riding back with Natalie for the drive, and one where I'm flying back. There's all kinds of different variations upon this life,
Yeah.
which we are leaving. But hey, whatever. I might get a pet hamster.
Oh my gosh. I know a
They're-
raccoon wrangler. Wait, Toby, do you know?
Whoa,
Oh.
Toby. Oh.
You realize it's Toby and it's in Texas. It's not as
Yeah.
useful. We could use a raccoon instead of a
Emotional
possum.
support hamster. Yes. I'm gonna name it emotional support.
Yeah.
Not a good name. Anyways, that's also the other fun and exciting thing that's happened in the last little bit here. That's
Yeah,
a
that
big
was fun.
shift. Yeah, it was fun.
There's
I
a-
like the change.
A lot of progress happening. I mean, there
Yeah.
has to be. We're at the phase of if the progress doesn't happen, we
Mhm.
drowned. But with music, with new products signing on,
Mhm.
which all of that will be.
We'll start announcing stuff as contracts get signed and things
Uh-huh.
get official. We have a lot of super NDA updates, but we're gonna have more for you guys
Yeah.
coming soon. Things are happening fast, and it felt like in Utah and in life, like we're starting to get lucky in weird ways.
Mm-hmm.
In the weird ways that only happen when you say yes to something and you do it, and things are starting to kind of
Mm-hmm.
fall into place like magic. It's weird. Well, there's a really great story that will tell you if it works out later. That if it works out, I'll be so happy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, we have so much work to do. Thank you guys for sticking around for the credit cookie section. I'm tired. Credit cookie section of today. You guys, I'm going to give a heads up now. We are, because production has moved up, the amount of live streams is for the month of February has diminished. And it's looking like our last live stream of before production will be the last week of January. We'll keep you guys posted as dates get solidified. We might, and this is a huge might, try again. We're not guaranteeing anything. Try and do some live streaming from location. We'll see how it goes. Things are going to be very crazy. But we want to give you guys that real behind the scenes look at what we're doing. But we have to honor production first. So we'll see how that
Right. We have
goes.
to be aggressively selfish.
Aggressively. So, anyways, all right, guys, thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next week. And we love you guys. Thank you for being a part of this journey. It's getting good out there. It's getting good. All right, bye.
Bye.